Time for our fast break bonus episode. And remember, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast in your top right corner or somewhere up there. There should be a bell. Go ahead and hit that for your notifications and tell somebody to tell somebody else about a win is a win. Now, we're going to break down this NIL talk because there's been a lot of talk since last week all over the headlines, and it's time to get to some type of understanding about exactly what is going on. Now, USC and Colorado, Shador and Caleb, Riley and Prime. Well, we know Caleb will go number one. We know that. He's going to be the number one pick, no doubt. Not every team is Alabama or OSU when it comes to players around the QB. And I mean that to say, in the locker room, there's an extension of the field. Prime has it. He knows what to say to those guys. My question is do they believe themselves? Do they believe in themselves? Or have they been blinded like everyone else by the show, the hype, the celebrity that's been overpowering the last few weeks? Lincoln and Prime also endure the same hate. One left Jackson State, the other left Oklahoma. Still some salty taste in people's mouths back in those two different states. Went on to other schools to do different things. Riley is making sure that Caleb is in the spotlight, making sure that he gets to the money. Some say Lincoln is too soft and too flashy. O-line needs some work. Others say Dion is Dion and has always been loud and flashy. Offensive line needs some work there. Both aren't without a lot of hype. Headlines all over the place. Last week, we heard the watch came out again. It's time, or it's showtime, or it's our time. Whatever the time means, he hasn't come out and said what it's for. That led into heavy conversations and gossip around social media and the internet regarding Shador's NIL deal, which is $4.8 million. Okay. Both are in the headlines this week, but not for the same reasons. Not for the show, not for the flashiness, but for horrible losses that had been overshadowed by all of the glitz and glamour of the, my goodness, many celebrities that's shown up to the game. Cedric the Entertainer, Offset, The Baby, Lil Wayne, The Rock, keep going, you name it. On the sidelines, we have Terrell Owens and Michael Irvin. Is that too much? Is it too much hype? Is it too much celebrity going on when USC, you get stomped on by Notre Dame 48-20? The offense only got you 20 points. The defense gave up 48. Need some work there. Stanford put a beat down on Colorado, came back from a 29-0 deficit to win in double OT 46-43. Both overpowered the headlines due to these NIL deals. Well, let's break that down. The NIL is basically name, image, and likeness. And it refers to the ability of college athletes to profit from their own brand image and popularity. Now, in 21, college athletes in the United States were granted the right to earn money from endorsements, sponsorships, and other opportunities related to their status as athletes. Now, this change allowed them to sign NIL deals and monetize, their personal brand while still participating in college sports. Now, listen, I am again not against the NIL. I wasn't even against the transfer portal because if you need to move some checkers and chess pieces to get you a better team and it's within league regulations, then by all means do so. The potential earnings for college athletes through the NIL deals can vary widely based on several factors. One, popularity and skill level. Highly skilled and popular athletes are likely to attract more lucrative deals compared to lesser known athletes. Okay. The sport simply that you play. Right now, football and basketball, top tier. You're going to make money, especially due to the larger fan base. And what are we just talking about? Media exposure. Social media following. Now, this has a significant impact on endorsement opportunities, potential higher earnings as well. What I mean is this: if you go out on any social media website, let's use Travis Hunter for an example, on Instagram, 1.1 million, TikTok, 750 something thousand, X, which is Twitter, I suppose, 588K. Now, each one of those followers has the opportunity to pay for some type of interaction with Travis. There are some college athletes who are banking almost $8,000 per follower per social media outlet. You do the math. Local market and team performance. Now, the success of the team and the local market interest in the sport can also impact the potential earnings. Well, let's go back to Colorado for a minute. How many big noon Saturdays have been in Colorado and how many celebrities have been in town, bringing in an enormous amount of people that Boulder has never seen before, admittedly by the mayor on their news channel? Well, who do you think gets compensated for bringing that business to the local market? Endorsement deals, Nike, Reebok, you name it, Under Armour, getting paid to put on shoes. And we're used to that. We've seen it plenty of times in professional sports. Merchandise sales. Now they can also earn from selling their own merchandise, such as apparel and memorabilia. Here's the one where I struggle with here the most. And again, I have no problem with you getting your money, but there is a strong but. Well, some might say, Tiffany, but if you insert that word, it's like negating an apology. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. I understand that, but follow me on this. Campus appearances and events. Athletes can earn fees and appearances at events, signings, and other functions on campus. Student athletes. Do you see where I'm going with this, guys? Student. They are students before they're an athlete. There are certain schools that will schedule now around these appearances on campus. So where does the student part come in? Where does the education part come in? I hope that is still at the forefront. The money, the appearances, I would hate to overshadow what the ultimate goal is, and that is to get your education. Have something to fall back on if this doesn't work out. It's important to know also that there is no fixed amount of range of or earnings, as it varies widely based on factors that have been mentioned. Now, some athletes may secure high paying deals while others may earn less and focus on more schooling or local opportunities. Both teams have a lot of hype around them. Both teams are consistently in the headlines. You're not going to watch any Big Noon Saturday, whether it has anything to do or not with USC or Colorado. It's going to come up. Caleb is going to come up. Shador is going to come up. But coming up short on headlines for football substance should bother you a whole lot more. That of which wins games. So we're not in the headlines lately for winning games. You're in the headlines for watches, potential deals, Rolls Royces, okay, Wendy's, all right, Canes, okay. Get your lines right and refocus. Now, speaking of refocusing, here's a question for everyone listening. Are USC and Colorado losing focus? And are the priorities of each organization out of place? When you're an athlete and you walk onto that field, you shouldn't be over inundated with a celebrity row, red carpet on the sideline. You should be laser focused on that field. You should be laser focused on the task, and that is getting the W, putting everything that you have out there, even with less desirable pieces to the puzzle. You still go out there and give it a gallant effort. Other teams have NIL deals as well, but they figure out how to make it work and are in the headlines for good old-fashioned football wins. You have the NIL's top 100 college players and the money that they are currently making. I'll give you the top 10, put into some perspective as to the large bank accounts these kids are making. Bronny James, $5.9 million. Shador Sanders, $4.8 million. Livy Dunn, $3.2 million. Arch Manning, $2.8 million. Caleb Williams, $2.7 million. Travis Hunter, $2.3 million. Angel Reese, $1.7 million. JJ McCarthy, 1.4. Spencer Rattler, 1.4 as well, and 1.4 at number 10 for Bo Nix. Turn down the flash and turn up some football. Now, USC and Colorado both lead the Power 5 with penalties. The Buffs had 17 for 127 yards in the game against Stanford. You can't win games when you have that many penalties. Penalties does not equal wins. We need to have less talk about the stars on the team and the coaches, and more talk about simply football. And here's a hard truth, and also a heavy reminder that I'm sure USC and Colorado swallowed up this last week, as you can tell on the faces of their coaches when they were interviewed. That football is a heavy reminder that the game itself prevails over any type of flash and hype. I don't think that the kids don't have passion for what they're doing. I think they're simply distracted and have gotten distracted. And rightfully so, as they should, because it's right there for them to do so. Pac-12, wild, wild west for NIL deals right now. Crazy, crazy, crazy. SEC, same. Big Ten, same. But they figure it out. There was a statement by Coach Prime, and he said he wanted to ask his team if they liked the game or loved the game, because he loved the game. He loved it. And that's fine. But not everyone is going to love it in the manner in which you loved it. So what do? Well, you get your weed whackers out and you weed out who really wants to be there and who really doesn't. Same for USC. Riley, press conference. Completely in shock and visibly bothered by the L they took from Notre Dame. Big rivalry. Defense didn't play as they should. No, your offense allowed numerous sacks, and USC held them to only 20 points. So this time is different. We don't have Shedeur at the table. We don't have Caleb Williams at the table. We have the coaches at the table who are now visibly frustrated. Well, it's time to get in the locker room and get those kids refocused. It's a new ball club in Colorado. And yes, they are doing better than what they had been. But they need to continue to focus on the task at hand so they can be better than they are. And that we know they can be. I'm sure they'll get into a bowl game. No doubt about that. But right now, everyone just simply wants to see, I'm speaking for myself and quite a few others, some good old-fashioned football. Two things can also be true. One, you can reward the player. As I've mentioned before, I'm for NIL. But the other thing that can be true is that it also can be too much. So right now, I implore USC and Colorado, get your team refocused. Because at the end of the day, the game of football will prevail. Money never will. If you're in the market for NFL gear, go to NFLshop.com. Use my code NFLSCORE to score you 25% off of your next purchase. That's going to end it for our Fast Break bonus episode. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Remember to tell a few people to subscribe to. A win is a win. And we'll be back with this week's episode and break down all of the drama in week 6 and a plethora of injuries. See y'all there. Peace.